Most lawyers don't make a bundle of money. Most lawyers do okay. Some lawyers don't do okay. Most lawyers don't make those crazy numbers that you're thinking about. And so you have to really ask yourself, is the 3 years or the 4 years worth it, right?
And have to be just know who you are.
Law school taught you the law, but it didn't teach you this: how to connect. Be that one lawyer who shows up different, the one clients trust, the one they never forget. I'm Neal Goldstein, and this is That One Lawyer Podcast. Let's get started.
Today's guest is Felicia Williams, founder of Williams Law Firm in Palmdale, California. Her journey took her from real estate to law, from the prosecutor's office to launching her own practice, known for her client-first approach, dual expertise in law and real estate, and entrepreneurial spirit. Felicia is a rising voice in estate planning and community education. I first met Felicia at Lawyers Stories Roundtable, and she immediately stood out as a significant contributor, thoughtful, direct, and inspiring. Felicia, welcome to That One Lawyer Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Neil. I'm so excited and happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here too. And, I was looking a little bit more about your background, and I have, some really interesting questions for you. But before we get to all of that, and before we have this nice conversation, can you tell everybody a little bit about your background, your backstory? Start wherever you're comfortable and finish wherever you're comfortable.
When I finished undergrad, I have my undergrad degree in communications. I thought I was going to be a journalist. That
Okay.
was my intention. As you mentioned, I have a heavy background in real estate. It was one particular deal I had. It was a probate matter, so I did communicate with my client's attorney often. And one of the things that's always drilled into the mind of a real estate agent is you cannot give legal advice. And I used to think to myself, well, I can become a lawyer and then I can give legal advice.
Right.
So that's how that journey started.
Right.
In
Right.
law school, I fell in love with criminal.
Uh-huh.
So real estate fell on the back burner and I pursued criminal law.
So when you left law school, you went to the prosecutor's office.
Yes.
Did you like that?
I loved it. While I was in law school, I interned at the prosecutor's office where I had the opportunity to conduct preliminary hearings. And it felt really good doing the work, and the experience taught me so much. It helped me navigate things throughout law school from that experience interning. So at the time I became licensed, it was not a doubt in my mind to apply at the prosecutor's office.
So when you say that, it helped you in law school working at the prosecutor's office, can you give me an idea of what that was like?
Oh, absolutely, Neil. One of the things I had a hard time understanding from reading was judicial notice. When I saw it in real life during my
Mm,
internship, I'm like, it's
right.
not that difficult to ask the court to take judicial notice on something. So it just like clicked for me.
A lot of lawyers wait years before starting their own practice. You launched much sooner. What gave you the confidence to make that leap? And what has been the biggest surprise since you put out your own shingle?
So you asked me what gave me the confidence. Neil, I've always been a confident person. I just feel like number one, we all have just one life to live. I'm not better than anyone, and that's one of my life's mantra. I'm not better than anyone. And on the same side of that coin, no one is better than me. So if I see other people who can open up their own firm, why can't I? And you asked me a second question. Forgive me, Neil.
No, 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 no. It's okay. It's fine. The other part of the question is, has there been a surprise since you opened up? In other words, have you encountered what I would imagine many people do, and that is there something that has been challenging since you've opened up your practice?
Challenging, yes. Learning about different deadlines. I was already aware of deadlines, but deadlines and having to crack open the books and further educate myself to make myself more competent in the area of law. that I decided to go into with opening my own office, my own firm.
If we could take a step back for a moment, back to law school, what did you think of the law school experience? Did it give you everything that you needed to go out there and do what you're doing, or was it missing something?
Missing something? Truthfully, yes. Applying the law, my experience going to law school, it taught me the law and how to write, how to fact check, issue spot. And that's something that we all as attorneys need, but the actual practice of law, that was missing. And that's one of the reasons I am forever grateful for my internship I had
Sure, sure.
at the prosecutor's office, because I had that opportunity to have hands-on experience with that.
So I'm assuming because you had had a prior work life in real estate, that it made sense for you to then put out a shingle for a real estate lawyer, correct?
I can see where you're going with that, correct? You're not the first person to mention that. And I do love real estate, I really do. But there's other areas of law that I fell in love with. I'm very comfortable with real estate. But Neil, have you ever heard the saying that you can't really grow when you're just stuck in your comfort zone? The other areas of law that I've dived into pushed me, not walked me out, it pushed me out of my comfort zone.
So I understand that the other area of law is estate planning, right?
Yes.
And is there something else that you dipped your toes in that you're working on as well?
Yeah, so you called it estate planning, also probate, and I found my way back into criminal.
So you're basically doing real estate, estate, and some criminal.
I kind of backed away from real estate,
Oh,
and
oh,
I if a case comes to me, a matter comes to me regarding real estate, and if it makes sense for my firm, I may
right.
be open to it. But I'm not really seeking real estate.
So you've managed to morph from this real estate expert and put yourself maybe initially in an uncomfortable position to do estate work, which you didn't weren't that familiar with, but you learned what to do, and also going back to criminal work, which you could now give lots of advice and represent people in court. Do you enjoy going to court and representing people in a criminal justice setting?
I do. I do.
On the other side this time,
On
right?
the
So
other
then right. So
side.
how does that
Yes.
feel? How does that feel?
You know, for lack of better words, the criminal courtroom, home sweet home.
Mm, wow.
But it does feel good to help people, because everyone who's accused have the right to a defense. They have that constitutional right. So to be able to help someone meet or to learn more about, okay, what rights do you have? What defense can we provide for you? It feels good to help someone, because everyone deserves a second chance.
Sure. Look, I'm going to go back. I give you a lot of credit for opening up your practice. I'm assuming I don't know the timeline, but it sounds like relatively soon after graduating law school. And so I'd like to just dive a little bit deeper into that because we have a lot of young people who are watching this. I mean, we have a mix of people, but I have a feeling it's a disproportionate amount of younger people. What's been the hardest? Finance, marketing, client trust, getting clients? Because you're smart, a lot of that stuff you knew was going to happen. Are one of those things or more than one of those things, are they even more challenging than you expected?
I don't want to use the word challenge, because it's our job as attorneys to make sure we're competent
Right.
when we're representing our clients. Just making sure I make myself competent. Speaking with you on prior occasions, you always stress networking, and my goodness, that is one of the most valuable things. It's true. I've experienced it. I'm still experiencing it. Um, when I decided to hang up my own shingle, my first few clients was because of networking. people that I've already established relationships with, and they trusted me to handle their legal matter.
That's really interesting. When you say people that you've already worked with, do you mean like people that you worked with doing real estate?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. So I'd love
Yeah.
to hear how you were able to connect to those people and reestablish, if you will, a relationship with them so that they now know not only did you help them, real estate, whether it's finding a house or a home, whatever, and now your reach as a lawyer.
Yeah, so one of my best friends is a partner of mine in real estate, and she was there with me throughout my law school career. And just having that support, um, so she opened the door to a lot of other people that I've met with what you said,
Yeah.
transitioning from real estate into going into law. Also, a big thing that's really helped my firm is me joining uh, my local chamber of commerce, and just really networking with the people involved there. I recommend that to anyone who's even considering maybe opening up their own firm. Join your local chamber of commerce. It's a lot of resources and opportunities that can come from that.
Listen, I've always said that join your local chamber of commerce if that's something that you're really interested in, so that when you go there, people see that. But if that's not something you're really interested in, if that doesn't tickle your funny bone, and and you'd rather join a faith-based group, for instance, because that's what inspires you, then do that, because then people will take you more seriously as opposed to just being transactional. But you've done well with the local chamber of commerce, which is great. What I really love, and I really didn't make that connection, is when you became a lawyer, you already had a group of people. I don't want to say following you, but you had a following of people from your real estate career, and you were able to bring those people over to your legal career, which is phenomenal because most lawyers, when they hang out a shingle, don't necessarily have that right away. So that gives you some kind of advantage.
Thank you. I agree. Thank you. And you mentioned also just a moment ago, if someone is into faith-based, right?
Sure.
I attribute everything that I've been able to accomplish thus far to my faith. Someone that I met, she prayed over my business at my ribbon cutting ceremony. I just really appreciate that. I just feel like because of my faith, a lot of things would not have happened for me or my firm.
And I'm assuming that you're involved in some group that is a faith-based group, and that also helps you meet other people, new people, and bond with people that you already know, further bond with them, correct?
Well, not necessarily a
No?
part of a faith-based based group. More so, a lot of the people that I associate with share
Uh-huh.
the same belief, the same faith that I
Uh-huh.
share. So we
Sure.
have that
Sure.
underlying connection.
Let me turn to your estate practice, which I find interesting for so many reasons. But most people think of estate planning has something only to do with older people. So how do you how do you pitch it to younger clients? They see that this is for them also.
Tomorrow is not promised, not for myself, not for you, not for our neighbors. It's not promised. And do something today that your future self can thank you for. Or if the time, I mean, we all have that expiration date. Do something today that your family will greatly appreciate you for doing. It's easy to just not think about it, but it's something that everyone should think about.
I would tell you, I did not think about it in my 20s and 30s, even though I was, I knew what life was all about, but it's just something that I think is just very hard to penetrate with young people.
I can see that too. I can see that too. I think it's safe to say a lot of younger people, they watch the news. Everything is not flowers and daisies on the news, right? Things
Uh,
happen.
Mhm.
And I say that to say younger people are aware that things unfortunately happen, and a lot of times it's untimely, and you just never know when it could happen. So take care of yourself and take care of your family to make things easier, because without any estate planning in place, the courts have to get involved.
You know what's funny? As a personal injury lawyer for over 35 years, I always thought it was weird that there weren't more personal injury lawyers that were involved in estate work. And the reason I say that is because many of our clients get all of a sudden get these windfalls of money that they never, obviously, they didn't want because they got it because they were injured pretty badly. It's incumbent upon, I think it's incumbent upon us as personal injury lawyers to give them as much advice as we can. Most of us are not well versed in estate practice, and I thought about that and I said, wow, why would that not be almost a natural partnership of personal injury and estate planning? It just makes sense to me.
Now that you bring that up, it does make sense. Personal injury is unfortunate for the people who fall victim to it, right?
Right.
That can be, it can be traumatizing depending on the extent of the injury that was sustained. It's like almost a brush of death per se. So it
Right.
does make sense to go ahead and have your estate planning in place.
So I notice on social media you do something that maybe that's the journalist in you. You have several platforms. You swipe to your right and swipe to your left, and you look at everybody's stories, and everybody's having a grand old time and having fun, and wearing the top suits or whatever, and this part of the world or that part of the world. When you're explaining things like pour over wills or types of trusts, some of which I never even heard of, terms that, many of us don't really understand, what's your goal there? Is it about bringing clients in, which is fine, or is it a bigger mission to educate your community?
A bigger mission to educate. I and people should be aware. I think, in this, of my professional opinion, estate planning is necessary. Is it required? No, it's not required, but is it helpful? Absolutely. Absolutely. So my
Yeah.
goal is to educate, to pick an interest, to plant a seed in someone's mind.
And what kind of response have you, many reels about explaining in layman's terms, as best as you can, of course, what a power of attorney is, and things like that, and the other terms that most of us, are not familiar with, certainly non-lawyers. What's the feedback been?
Number one feedback is further questions, communications, which in turn that does open the door to
Yeah.
more clients
Right.
who, okay, the seed is either growing exponentially fast or is just taking time, which is okay. But communication has been the biggest as a result of such content.
Is there one legal term, because I know that's a part of what you do on social media, that you've explained that you get the biggest reaction from people who might say, "Wow, I never knew that."
Not as of yet. I'm sure it may happen. For the most part, I try not to use a lot of legalese because I'm aware that, not everyone are attorneys like you and I, Neil. Um, but as you know, some words is just how can we not use the legal term? But so as of yet, to answer your question, I haven't gotten that response.
You're a woman of color. Do you want to take that message to other people and talk to them about your story? Are you looking to inspire other people to do the same thing that you've done?
Mentored so far two young ladies who are really looking to get into law school. And I don't sugarcoat anything because, as you know, law school is difficult.
Yes.
Um, and you will have to give up X amount of years of your life. if you want to be a lawyer. So the main question I always ask is, are you sure you want to become an attorney?
Right.
You can totally do it. No one's better than you.
Right.
If all of us have become attorneys, so can you. Um, and just I just really emphasize put in the work. There's no shortcuts. Even in today's world where there's AI and people Google a lot of things, of course, right? That's not going to get you ahead in law school. It's not. So just put
Right.
in the work. That's the main advice that I give.
Yeah, I try to do the same thing when somebody says, they want to go into law and they want to do this, they want to do that. And I explain to them, well, you've got 3 years, or in my case, it was 4 years because I went to school at night of, brutal work. I mean, it is not easy. Get out of that 3 or 4 years, then you have a brutal exam called the bar
Yes.
exam. You have to really commit to that because what you don't want is to go in and spend a year there and then realize, oh, this isn't for me. And if that happens, it happens. But you'd rather not go that route. You'd rather be able to say, okay, I'm all in, or this isn't for me. That's what I try to explain to people because some people think, well, you become a lawyer, you make a lot of money. I tell them right off the bat, that's not true. I don't know who is telling you that other than social media. Most lawyers don't make a bundle of money. Most lawyers do okay. Some lawyers don't do okay. Most lawyers don't make those crazy numbers that you're thinking about. And so you have to really ask yourself, is the 3 years or the 4 years worth it, right?
And have to be just know who you are. Know who you are.
Oh, for sure, 100%. And it sounds like you know who you are. I'd like to go back into your faith and dedication. Can you tell me, can you dive into that a little bit more and give us your background of that? In other words, did you grow up in a family that was faith-based and that's why you are who you are, or did that come at some other point in your life?
I did not grow up in a church. No one in my family is a pastor or anything like that.
Right.
My family does believe in God.
Hmm.
I always believed in God.
Hmm.
And even because there's been times in my life where I experienced struggle, as well as troubles. And I always believed that God would take care of me. That's really the basis of my faith. I just know that without God, and again, I understand that people may have different beliefs, but just for me speaking, I can't do anything without God.
Okay.
I'll tell you this, Neil. Here's a funny example for me.
Sure.
When I passed the bar exam, I remember that exam that I took. I'm like, crap. I don't think this is not going to work. This is not going to work. I felt like I bombed no, I felt like I bombed two of the essays.
Right.
Um, and I just I didn't believe it. So when those results came out and I got my congratulations letter, I just felt like, whoa, it was nothing but God that took care of this for me. And yes, of course, I studied, I did the work that was necessary to prevail on the other side,
Right.
but I attribute it all to God.
I just want to move over to this client first philosophy. I know what it means to me, and maybe you could tell everybody what it means to you and how you actually practice that in your day to day law firm.
Absolutely, Neil. I treat people how I want to be treated. I don't look at people based off of their income or where they went to school or just how they grew up.
Mhm.
No, how I want to be treated, I want to be treated with dignity and respect. So I'm going to give that to every person, especially my clients, of course, um, and being thorough. As we previously discussed today, everyone is not a lawyer, so we can't assume that everyone understands the law. So when a client trusts me, when me, they hire my firm,
Mhm.
they're relying on me helping them with whatever matter it is. It is my job. I find it to be my job to be very thorough and to be patient and to be very understanding. You said something on social media, Neil. Um, you said to have empathy. And that is so true. That is so true because you never know what someone is really going through. I've had a few clients break down and cry in my office, and I don't know how they feel inside, but for them to feel comfortable to be so emotional, there's no other way but to treat people with respect and dignity and to put my client first.
I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but from the way you are speaking, it sounds like that you feel that that might be lacking in our practice. Brothers and sisters, lawyers, uh, are not really doing much of that. Or maybe if they are, they're not doing it enough. Is that something, do you feel that way?
And this is not for everyone, of course. Partially, I do. I feel like as a whole, in our community, we could do more.
Mhm.
People look up to us, Neil.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you, and I think I talk about that a lot. I'm not a I don't backpedal. I say it like it is, and in general, I think many lawyers, I won't say all, and I will say that it seems to be getting better, but there are still many lawyers out there that don't treat their clients with the respect that I think that they deserve. I've always said that, you have to treat your clients like partners because that's in fact what they are. They've come to you because you have a certain set of skills and you want something from them because maybe it's to earn a living. So there's something that they have that's going to help you get something financially out of it, which is okay. That's what we're doing. Maybe it's a type of case that you like to work on, and that's why you want to be there and help them. Whatever it is, there's something that you want. And so there's no reason why you shouldn't be looking this as a partnership. So I do think it's lacking. I've been in the back doors and I know how many lawyers talk about their clients and treat their clients. I think your approach, my approach, keeping the client, center stage, is really the way to go. And clients see that, they feel that from the moment they meet you, they know that Felicia is on their side. They know that Felicia is with them. And so it works out very nicely because the dynamic is there and you've set that in motion from day one. It's a philosophy of mine that I've lived by. You just don't shut it down after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It stays with you.
I think also it's a testament to who someone is, their character. Um, and again, this is not everyone in our field,
Right.
obviously. Um, but there are people who just don't have the best character. And that can, as you mentioned, transcend onto the client, and the client can feel that. But I never want any of my clients to feel that way by me or anyone who works for my firm.
I know that similarly, in your effort to reach out to people, you've hosted community workshops, correct?
Well, I had a estate planning workshop.
Right. And can you tell me a little bit how you set that up and how that worked out?
Yes, yes, absolutely. It was always on Zoom.
Okay.
Maybe one day in person, but
Uh-huh.
it's always been on Zoom. That has been much more convenient for me.
Hmm.
From a client point of view, I just assumed it would be convenient because people do work or may have other things to do. So with joining Zoom, you can either be at your computer or if you're doing laundry, you can have it on your phone. And this worked out pretty good. It's typically after answering questions, a little over an hour.
Oh, that's great. And do you find that builds your credibility with more people and that people see who you are and that you're friendly and that you're approachable? Do you find that that gives you the opportunity to bring more business in?
Absolutely. People become nervous at times when they know, when they're aware they're speaking with an
Yeah.
attorney
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I mean, I understand.
Right.
So when you mention more approachable, I do find that I feel like it makes me more approachable.
That's why, honestly, when I meet people, if they want to come to my office, they're more than welcome to, and I always tell them that. But more often than not, I either meet them at their home, or much more often, I meet them somewhere in the middle. So we meet at Starbucks or a coffee place or something, and it kind of brings everything down. We're both having a cup of coffee and we're just sitting. Initially, we just talk about whatever. I don't even talk about the case. The first thing I ask a client when I'm sitting with them is, tell me something about yourself. And that usually leads into about 20 different things, which is fine because I know that one or more of those 20 different things that they talk about, I'm going to have something in common with them. And I don't do it in an underhanded way. I do it because I want to create this bond. I want them to see that we can connect with each other. So I think hosting that type of event is one way of trying to connect on a different level rather than have them sit in your conference room or come to your fancy office or whatever it is, whatever lots of lawyers like to do. They like to grab people and have them come to their office because they want them to see their office, or because they want to be, because the lawyer wants to be the center of attention. And, that's not something who I am.
I love how you meet with your clients like at a coffee shop. You made me think of a saying that I've used since my real estate career. People do business with whom they like and whom they trust.
Yes. Yes.
And there's no other way around it.
I have another saying. I say you can have a four-star conversation at a one-star restaurant as long as you're both being authentic. And I know that word is used a lot these days, but I truly mean it. So I think that's really important. I have another question for you. I, I
Yes.
don't I don't know this, but I have the feeling you're a solo practitioner, correct?
Yes.
So tell me, what do you do when you want to have that camaraderie, or you have those questions regarding something, or you want to run a scenario or a situation by somebody? What do you do?
Two of my buddies that I went to law school with, one, she opened up her own practice, and the other one, he works for someone else. And both were very, very supportive. And they're
Yeah.
always like, Felicia, reach out to us if there's anything you need, any questions. And that's exactly who I either text or call. Everything. If come across something, I'm like, I don't understand this. I have no problem asking for help.
So you have the resources, when you're stuck on something, which we all happens to all of us, or you want to run a scenario by somebody, you have the resources to go to and speak to people and get feedback, good, bad, or indifferent.
I just want to throw in there, as I mentioned, those two people, we went to law school together. So people who are considering going to law school, you never know who your colleagues will be. Establish good relationships. You may need them one day, or they may need you.
Oh, 100%. I'm glad you said that. That's really important. I speak to law students online. Even if you're wanting to go into big law, you got to keep relationships going. It's important to get really good grades. I'm not suggesting it's not. Quite frankly, it wasn't that important to me. But I understand why people feel it's important to get good grades. But what's just as important, if not more important, is exactly what Felicia said. And that is, hey, you've got to make relationships here. This is your time to do that. I know I still talk to people that I went to law school with, not a lot, but enough to feel like I still got my connections. It's vital, especially when you're going into a solo situation where you may not have that person in the next room to be able to say, hey, I want to run something by you. I really appreciate you bringing that up because I think that's really important. So as we start to wind down, I wanted to throw three things at you, three questions which we ask everybody. So the first question is, what is one thing that you would tell another young lawyer listening right now that could help them stand out as that one lawyer in a world full of lookalikes?
Be authentic.
Be yourself, right?
Yes.
Good. Do you think a lot of lawyers are not authentic?
Yes.
Okay. We'll go to question number 2. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, what would you say knowing everything you know today?
Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. You mentioned something that, some uh, people who are in law school, they
Mhm.
really try to strive on getting the best grades. I wasn't a straight A student in law school. I wasn't. I just wanted to pass. That
Right.
was important to me. And I used to be really hard on myself. Like, I could have done this, I could have done that. Here I am today. Just pass. I mean, I'm not knocking anyone again who
Right.
wants to get into
Sure.
big law, corporate
Right,
law,
right,
right?
right, right, right.
Um, but outside of that, just do what you have to do so that way you can sit for the bar exam. So I wouldn't be so hard on myself.
Great advice. And finally, is there someone that you've lost personally or professionally with whom you'd want one more conversation? What would you say to them if you had that moment? And
My dad,
can you tell us a little bit
lost.
about your dad, or what you
He
would say to him?
Yes, he great guy, phenomenal guy. He was a musician. And law school, as you know, Neil, you get really busy. And I really didn't have time to pick up the phone and have conversations with anyone. And this is something I would never in my life forget. My dad had texted me. I'm studying. I made a mental note. I'm going to text my dad back. Literally 3 months later, he passed away. So when you say, or when you ask me if there is one more conversation, I just wish I would have responded. So I just would never have that opportunity again. And that's one of the moments in my life where I'm like, I will make time for things that are truly important to me.
If you had that one conversation now, what would you say to him?
I hope you're proud of me.
That's great. Well, let me tell you, I know there are people listening to this that would love to connect with you in one way or another. So, what is the best way? What is the best way for people to connect with you, whether they're looking for a lawyer in your area or they just want to maybe get some information, some advice? What's the best way to connect?
The best way to connect is on my website. They can receive my phone or obtain my phone number from my website. They can also send a message. So that is williamslawfirm.law.
Okay. And I know you're on social media too. You've got a few different platforms so people can look for you there. And Palmdale, California, by the way, is in what part of California?
It's Southern California. I know everyone's familiar with Los Angeles, so Palmdale is approximately 40 minutes north of Los Angeles.
Okay. Thanks, Felicia, for being on here. You're a great guest. You're truly authentic. There's no question about it. And I love the fact that you have that client first philosophy. I wish more lawyers had it. And I look forward to seeing you again on the Lawyers Roundtable. And maybe at some point soon, we'll see each other live at some event.
Thank you, Neil. It has been my pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You take care.
If something here hits home for you, don't keep it to yourself. Tap subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with a lawyer who needs to really hear it. This is That One Lawyer Podcast. See you next time.